Now, Twiggy Forrest is blaming higher energy prices globally as the reason for these cutbacks, saying that in this environment, and I quote, "You're not going to bring in major sources of green hydrogen, which relies on cheap energy prices." He says we're not going to swim against the tide. Now, this is a worry when even a green zealot like Twiggy Forrest can face reality, but our energy minister cannot. Let's bring in now the environment editor at The Australian, Graham Lloyd, for more. Graham, great to have your company. 700 jobs cut. The ambition of Twiggy to produce 15 million tonnes of green hydrogen a year by 2030, that's shelved. What does this do to Labor's green hydrogen ambitions?
Well, good evening, Peter. It certainly puts a big cloud over what has been a central narrative of Labor's transition plans, and that is that a hydrogen industry is going to be created, and that will replace gas and coal and other things for baseload power. Andrew Forrest has given it a red-hot crack. He's tried to disrupt the global industry, and he's gone out there, and what he's found is it's more difficult, it's more expensive, and other countries are not willing to put orders in for something that's not technologically proven. And there's a message in there for the federal government.
Well, what about the money? I mean, the budget had $6.7 billion in hydrogen tax incentives. What's happened to that?
Well, there's two elements to that. One is research and development, which is underway and will probably continue with other national governments, Germany, for instance. And the rest was producer credits that would be paid if companies were able to produce the hydrogen, and it would subsidise the cost of doing so. It's now looking more uncertain that that is going to be called upon, because the truth is the technology to actually create the hydrogen is a long way from being established.
Okay, so we know Labor doesn't like coal. They don't want coal for firming. They're giving us mixed messages on gas. We now learn they don't have hydrogen. What happens to the grid when it fails and they need firming? Because we know it fails about 60% of the time.
Well, we're definitely seeing a shift in rhetoric and attitude towards gas from Labor now. It's the one fuel that has always been there and was the logical choice, but it's been excluded because people were told that hydrogen would be a ready replacement. It was telling that in his address to the press club yesterday, Mr. Bowen didn't mention hydrogen, but he did mention gas as part of the things that would be used for the energy future. So I think there's a resignation that gas is going to play a bigger role. It's just a matter now how they negotiate that with the Greens, who absolutely hate it, and how they get the state governments to get involved and start allowing more to be produced.
Graham, help me understand this blue in New South Wales. The Forestry Products Association is accusing the Minns government of carbon colonialism. This has got to do with the National Parks and Wildlife Service putting a submission into a federal government entity about a new way to generate carbon credits. What can you tell us?
Well, it's really a drama that is at the heart of forest management, and that is a tree worth more and better left standing, or is it a more profitable thing to cut it down and use it for other products? Obviously, a submission has been put to the federal government that says there should be a way of giving a carbon value to forest stores, and so they shouldn't be cut down. The Forest Products Group are saying, well, that's madness, and all it will do is result in trees being cut down in Indonesia and other places to replace the stuff that we don't do here. Both sides are pretty firm in their positions, and certainly it is not possible to replace forest products completely by plantation. So what they're saying about colonialism to an extent is true.
Well, watch that one. Graham Lloyd, thank you.